So we can't talk about Girl Scout cookies without mentioning this viral Instagram post, a list of things not to do when approached by a Girl Scout selling cookies. The post, well, it struck a nerve with people far and wide. The author of this post has been invited to our show. Her name is Nicole O'Neal, and she's many things, including a mom to a Girl Scout who's 6 years old. She is also, Nicole, an advocate for those who have recovered from eating disorders and disordered eating. And here to tell us more about her story and how it's unfolding is Nicole O'Neal. Thank you so much for joining us on New York Living.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So we just had a fantastic group of Girl Scouts clearly leading the charge. It's an incredible organization that you're a part of. I wonder if you could take us back to this kickoff meeting where you brought your daughter to talk about the selling of Girl Scout cookies. What was the impetus to this post?
Yes, so we had our cook-off. We had our cookie kickoff. Every town has them. All the troops go and, they get ready to sell. And so we were learning about goals and we were making lists of people we were going to sell to. We made signs for our booth and it was a great event. And at the end of the event, there was one station where the older Girl Scouts were teaching the younger Girl Scouts some of the customers they may encounter. Mm-hmm. And one of the scenarios was the healthy indulgence customer. And they went on to describe that customer as somebody who might be on a diet. And so I was upset by that, and I went to Instagram and I ranted, and then I opened the notes section of my phone and I quickly typed out what I was feeling and I posted it to social media, and it's since gone viral. And the reason I posted that is because something we do as adults is we tend to narrate out loud our food choices. And I was like, wow, at these Girl Scout booths where these little girls, 5 and 6, are selling cookies with adults who are narrating why they're not buying, maybe because they're on a diet or maybe because they're watching their weight, that can really affect young girls. And we don't want that language around them, especially in this scenario. And so that's why I posted it. And so many people shared it in agreement. And here we are.
I mean, all the way here in New York, folks were talking about that Nicole O'Neal and her viral post. But it was very interesting, things not to say. And I think the things that you your points, they've become ingrained in the language of so many women. So I think shining a light on what not to say is truly impactful. I wonder though, did your daughter know that you posted it?
So she didn't know because, I don't talk about this stuff in front of her because, I know you mentioned I've struggled with disordered eating my whole life, and it's from messages that I have picked up. Because kids aren't born disliking their bodies. Kids aren't born understanding what flaws are. They're born with an innate ability to self-regulate. And so it's we as adults who kind of teach them, you shouldn't eat this, or this is bad for you. And then, that kind of snowballs. And so when I made a vow when I first had kids, I said, I'm never going to talk disparagingly about myself in front of my kid because I don't want her to start thinking that there's anything wrong with her. So I never talk about this stuff in front of her, which was hard because the drive home, I was like white knuckling it.
I'm sure.
And I was like, I can't wait to get home and post this because I'm mad.
So you don't want to talk about it with your daughter? Fair enough. She's young. How about the folks in your troop? Surely they follow you on social media and they must have seen it. Was there any reaction there?
Yeah, all the moms, they texted me. They're like, we're so happy you're talking about this. And honestly, the reason that this post has gone viral is because it's been parents. It's been parents, it's been troop leaders, it's been former Girl Scouts, dietitians, psychologists that have shared the post and said, yes, like we as adults, like we can work together and make this simple change because this is a conversation that we as adults need to have with each other. We don't need to have it with the kids. We're going to have plenty of conversations with them about things they hear at school and things they hear from their friends. So this is something small that we can do this selling season as adults.
Well, we just had these Girl Scouts and they gave us their go-to of how they sell their cookies. I got to tell you, they have a future in business. What about your daughter? She's ready to go out there and sell the cookies?
She's ready to sell. I loved how you were asked to define approach.
That's
I
right.
love that. I love when these girls are curious, and they're so excited to sell their cookies. My daughter had her booth out this weekend. She's ready.
She's ready. So what happens next for you and for your daughter and as you march through adolescence?
I think what happens next is we just keep the conversation going. You know, I'm thankful for people like you who are, giving us a platform to talk about this. And that's all it is. It's just a conversation. You know what I mean? It's just bringing awareness to the fact that what we say and what we do in front of, young children has such a big impact. And so it's like, we're not asking for a lot. We're just asking, that we stop talking so much about dieting and calories in our body to, 5 and 6 year old girls. And so I think the more we can have this conversation, I think the more, we're going to make a change. And that's really exciting. So thank you.
Thank you for leading the charge. We appreciate the time. Nicole O'Neal, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely.